Hi, in this video, I'm going to cover how do you build your runtime variables at the entry candles high and low. And using this, how do you take your targets and stop losses? So in this strategy, you can see I have a entry condition, which is basically a simple EMA crossover. So I'm taking a trade based on a simple crossover. Now, what I want is that I will generate a runtime variable based on the crossover candles high and low after my trade is taken. So in order for you to generate your to capture the high and low of the entry candle, you need to first make sure that a trade is happening for your entry. So the way the condition builder works is that you will first have to take your entry conditions will first be checked. After that, the positions will be checked, and after the positions, your runtime variable will be generated. So in my case, first my crossover will happen, then my position will be traded, and then my runtime variable will be generated, which I will now define. So now I'll show what is the runtime variable that I need to generate. So I'll select Nifty underscore high. Now do note that these variable names are case and space sensitive, so be careful about the variable names that you use. Now out here I will select position, and I will select, in my series I'll select high, and in my position I'll select -1. So this is a mistake a lot of people make, which is that they select position 0 because they want the running candles high. But do realize that if you're taking trades based on a -1 candle, let's say the crossover happened at this particular candle and you're taking a trade at the start of this candle. So when you select -1 candle, after the previous candle closes, the trade will be triggered. So that means that you're taking an entry at the start of the next candle. If you're taking an entry at the start of the next candle and you select high of, let's say, position 0, in that case what happens is that there is no other data for that particular candle. The only data is the first ticks data. So it will give you an incorrect reading. So what you need to do is, if you need the crossover, the entry candles high, then you always need to select -1 in the position. When you select -1, after that you select the symbol. So select 15-minute candles and futures, and this is quite straightforward. Just the way you would normally select for high, you'll select your high for the same underlying, which in my case is Nifty 50. Now I will submit this and I will close this and save it. Similarly, I'll select Nifty underscore low, and I will select my value, and again I will select position keyword to capture the low. Again I will select low as my keyword, -1 as my position for the above stated reasons, and I'll select 15-minute candles and futures out here, and now I'll select OK. I'll select my instrument name, which is Nifty 50. OK, and I will submit it. Now I'll close this, save it, and I will close this box. So you can see your runtime variables will now be generated. Now I will generate my exit conditions. So in my exit conditions, I can just click on edit, and you can see that I have already generated my exit condition, where I am taking a target of, let's say, 10 points above the high, just as an example to show you, and I'm taking a stop loss around 10 points below the low. So in order to get the correct runtime variable, what you need to do is you just need to copy the same variable name that you had used in your runtime data. So whatever was used in runtime data, just copy it, which in my case was Nifty underscore high, and you just need to select a get runtime keyword from here. Just select get runtime and just paste in that particular variable name, which is Nifty underscore high and Nifty underscore low. So one good practice that you can follow is that whenever you have conditions which require a get runtime to be compared with a particular value or a number or so on, you can just add a new group, and you can first copy the get runtime keyword and paste it in that group, and then pull that entire condition and pull it below the get runtime keyword. So basically this will make sure that your get runtime is being checked first. So only if Nifty underscore high as a runtime variable exists, only then it will continue to check this. So this will make sure your strategy is always running smoothly. Again, I will add a new group because I have another get runtime out here. I'll copy this get runtime, I'll paste it, and I will then pull my condition out here, and I will pull it into the second group. So now you can see I have one OR condition with two different groups. Both these groups are first checking for my runtime variable. Does the runtime variable exist? And after that, it is checking that if my price is greater than, let's say, 10 points above the runtime variable and so on. So now I can just submit this and I can close it. Another important thing that you need to remember is that at the time, let's say when you are taking an entry, you're generating your runtime variable. At the time of exit, you also need to kill that particular runtime variable by doing something like this. So you can see I have used the same variable name, which is nifty underscore high, and I have given it a value of number 0. By doing this, looking at the same variable name and giving it a value of number 0, you're making sure that this same variable is not being used elsewhere in your strategy. So this variable will now cease to exist since you have given it a value of number 0. So you can do this for the high and the low so that this variable gets killed, and again your entry conditions will be checked. If your entry conditions are true, it will take your entry trade, and after that it will generate a new set of runtime variables based on the new trade. Now, very often people ask me if they are doing there's this strategy for Nifty or Bank Nifty, this particular method works. But how do you use this method when you have a list of stocks? So let's assume you have a list of stocks. Let's assume this FNO list. So let's say I'm trading in this FNO list and not Nifty 50. In that case, how do you generate your runtime variables? So in order to generate runtime variables for a list of instruments, just click on this runtime variable, and out here you will be able to see like out here you just need to generate your variable name. So in your variable name, you need to add the name of that particular list. So previously I used nifty underscore high. Now I will use FNO in the same caps that I saw in the list, and I will select underscore and I'll select high. Now you need to remember that since you're looking at an FNO list, you want to call in a list, you need to use these two pipes out here. Now do remember that pipes are basically a special character, and these pipes are not the I symbol. This is not I that I'm talking about. It's basically a straight line which you will find on a QWERTY keyboard below the backspace and above the enter. So this is basically a pipe. The symbol is called a pipe, and you use your list underscore high between the pipes. So these two pipes are supposed to be used if you want to call in a particular list. So now this variable name will basically generate a variable with the value that I select out here for that particular list. So let's say if HDFC Bank is in this particular FNO list and a trade is generated in HDFC Bank, it will basically generate a variable name called HDFC Bank underscore high. So this way it will be able to generate my variable name for that only that instrument in which my trade was taken. So you can just put in a value as needed by again looking up for the list. So just like out here you selected Nifty 50, you will select the FNO list that I had called, and in your exit condition, the difference that you will have to do is that you will have to basically again call in the list out here. So instead of selecting Nifty 50, I'll select the two pipes and I will select FNO underscore high, and I will save this. Similarly in get runtime, I will again do the same thing. I will select my two pipes and I will select FNO underscore high, and I'll click on OK. So this way you can generate your runtime variables for a list based strategy as well. So I hope this video on capturing the high and low of a entry candle helped. If you need any other help in terms of or if you have any other suggestions in what we should cover in the following week's topics, feel free to drop it in the comments below, and we would be happy to take it up in the next sessions. Thank you.